It's May 11th, 1995.
Saturn.
The Sega Saturn surprise release shocks and angers retailers across the nation. Only about half of the planned launch titles are ready to go. Hardware supplies are short, sales plans are unprepared, but unlike its future competition, the Saturn comes with a pack-in game.
Virtua Fighter.
It's PandaMonium.
One. Ready, go!
By today's standards, this looks pretty terrible. The blocky polygons do have their charm, but the controls and gameplay feel sloppy.
Ring out!
But at the time, Virtua Fighter was a really big deal.
I win!
Unleashed to the arcades in 1993, Virtua Fighter is the first three-dimensional fighting game ever, allowing fighters to move in more than two directions across the field. Crafted by Sega's AM2 division and pioneered by Yu Suzuki, Virtua Fighter would live on to be one of the most historically significant games in history. The simple fact that it allows you to fluidly control a human character made from polygon graphics makes Virtua Fighter the first of its kind. It paved the way for not only other 3D fighters like Tekken and Dead or Alive, but it also sparked the use of 3D human characters as a whole, inspiring games like Tomb Raider. Think about what was going on at the time. The resounding majority of games were sprite-based 2D. Earlier that year, you're starting to see games utilize crude polygon graphics like Star Fox and Alone in the Dark. These are pretty cool, but Virtua Fighter is arguably the most technologically advanced-looking game in the arcades. Now you, the consumer, are able to bring this experience to the living room for the first time ever. Lifelike movement with human expressions. Scary looking expressions, but again, this was a very big deal. Former Sony employees say the PS1 was originally planned to be a 2D focused console, but when they saw Virtua Fighter in the arcades, they decided to make it 3D focused instead. Just imagine what life would be like if that didn't happen. It left a legendary legacy and lots of sequels, but Virtua Fighter's early years are still getting love and respect from game designers and fans to this day.
Go!
This is largely meant to show gamers what the Saturn is capable of.
Excellent!
Note that most consoles use triangular polygons. The Saturn is using four-sided quads. The Saturn port is nearly identical to the arcade game. At the time, it received very good scores, sometimes perfect scores from most gaming magazines. But now, this is merely a shell of what Virtua Fighter has become. You pick one of 8 fighters, all based off a real-life martial art. Then run the gauntlet of characters until you reach Dural, Kage's lost naked metal mother, who uses a mix of all the game's fighting styles. Once you beat her, you beat the game. There's not much else to it. You got a 2-player mode and some options to mess with. Unlike other popular fighters, there's only 3 buttons: block, punch, and kick. But the possibilities are still vast. Each fighter has its own unique and long list of combo strings which give you plenty of movement options. It's fast-paced, easy to pick up, yet takes commitment to master a single character. If you're wanting a good experience of classic Virtua Fighter, don't go here. This version of Virtua Fighter is only good for the historical experience. I'd point you in the direction of any other remake and sequel, which has much better controls, less choppy graphics, but still give off the old arcade feel. Pass this up if you're gaming in the 21st century. The controls in the pack-in game are not bad, they're just not nearly as good. Love these faces, by the way. Virtua Fighter got faces down. Oh yeah. I think what I like most is how detailed the character select screen is. I don't know if you knew, but Wolf's hobby is karaoke. Jackie is a professional IndyCar driver, and Kage's blood type is B. Fun fact, they originally planned to have an Arab fighter named Siba, but he was cut last minute in favor of Akira, who later became one of the most popular fighting game characters of all time. This Japanese guy even figured out how to print him. You can see Siba's face on the arcade machine's marquee. Many ads and previews had screenshots of him fighting, but he finally became playable in Fighter's Megamix for the Saturn. Virtua Fighter is a good demonstration of what Saturn game engines are capable of, but it's far from the hardware's full potential. For being free with the console, it's hard to complain, especially considering how mind-blowing it was to have a near-perfect arcade port of one of the most technologically advanced games of its time at your home. Print reviewers praised the hell out of this. It was amazing. but now it is dated. Even in the Saturn's later lifespan, it became dated. Since November 22nd, 1994, Chairman Sekita Sanshiro traveled the cityscapes and mountaintops of Japan, spreading the love of Sega Saturn by beating his righteous ways into the non-believers. But now it is time for him to spread the word from the land of the rising sun straight to the continent which needed it most, North America. Now, Chairman Segata must rank all American releases of Saturn games onto Uncle Segata's wall, deciding which games are slightly above average and which are not, for he is not the sacred master of taste, as he believes all Saturn games are more than good enough and deserve a chance with its players. But when stacked up against every game released in the region, Sanshiro must choose Virtua Fighter, the launch title which changed home console gaming and the fighter genre as we know it. How does it rank? How does it fare? It's good. I was sitting here editing this video, and I was looking through a old Saturn promo from '95, and there's a screen thing. There's a graphic here which reads, "For the Sega Saturn retailer nearest you, please call 1-800-C-Saturn." I myself am a pretty dedicated Sega customer and want to get in on the latest of newest video game tech. And of course, the only way I can do that is if I get my hands on a brand new Sega Saturn. So we're gonna call this number and find the nearest retailer to me. Gonna give me a Saturn. It's gonna happen.
You have dialed a number that is not available from your calling area.
I don't know how I'm gonna get one.